And we've reached a point where it's just too many mistakes and too much censorship.
Here's Zuckerberg yesterday. Now, this is post announcing that Dana White will be on the board. Here's Zuckerberg, who comes off as an AI humanoid. I'm not totally sure he's all human, possibly alien. But here he is talking about how Facebook will now return to its roots of free speech.
Hey everyone. I want to talk about something important today, because it's time to get back to our roots around free expression on Facebook and Instagram. I started building social media to give people a voice. I gave a speech at Georgetown 5 years ago about the importance of protecting free expression, and I still believe this today. But a lot has happened over the last several years. There's been widespread debate about potential harms from online content. Governments and legacy media have pushed to censor more and more. A lot of this is clearly political, but there's also a lot of legitimately bad stuff out there. Drugs, terrorism, child exploitation. These are things that we take very seriously, and I want to make sure that we handle responsibly. So we built a lot of complex systems to moderate content. But the problem with complex systems is they make mistakes. Even if they accidentally censor just 1% of posts, that's millions of people. And we've reached a point where it's just too many mistakes and too much censorship. The recent elections also feel like a cultural tipping point towards once again prioritizing speech. So we're going to get back to our roots and focus on reducing mistakes, simplifying our policies, and restoring free expression on our platforms. More specifically, here's what we're going to do. First, we're going to get rid of fact checkers and replace them with community notes, similar to X, starting in the US. After Trump first got elected in 2016, the legacy media wrote nonstop about how misinformation was a threat to democracy. We tried in good faith to address those concerns without becoming the arbiters of truth. But the fact checkers have just been too politically biased and have destroyed more trust than they've created, especially in the US. We're going to move our trust and safety and content moderation teams out of California, and our US-based content review is going to be based in Texas.
There's so much to say there. It's like, first off, let me just say this. You should decide for yourself whether you believe this guy. You should decide for yourself whether you want to use those products. And you should also think about, I would say, what would the situation be if the election had gone the other way? If Kamala Harris was about to be sworn in 2 weeks from today, is he bringing Dana White on the board? Is he saying, oh, I want to do more to get to our free speech roots or anything else? Of course not. So he's being opportunistic here in that he's trying to get his company to survive, right? Now, I don't blame him for that or begrudge him. And by the way, when I've criticized a lot of these big tech guys over the years, and I think I've been fairly critical of all of them, like Jack Dorsey, the old regime at Twitter, who was one of the absolute worst and lied under oath that he didn't shadow ban on Twitter. I've been a little bit nicer when it comes to Zuckerberg, because I think he was at least trying to some extent to not go all in on censorship, right? Maybe I'm wrong about that. But I just don't know, like, to me, when you have an honest political evolution, it's because you've realized that some of your ideas were wrong. You've realized maybe you've done some wrong things and you've behaved poorly or whatever it might be. And then you come to a new conclusion. That's not really what he's doing here. What he's basically saying is, oh, we kind of lost and I want to keep my business. So again, you just decide how you want to relate to all of that. The deep state strikes back with a clear message to create nuclear war as Trump transitions into office. It's confirmed NATO fires missiles into Russian territory, forcing Putin to the brink of nuclear war. We haven't been this close to World War III since the Cuban Missile Crisis, and folks, Putin does not mess around. If global disaster strikes, are you prepared? 90% of medications come from overseas. You need to cover the bases for your family's medical needs and prepare for any type of medical catastrophe. And the wellness company's emergency kits are your best defense against the unexpected. Packed with life-saving medications like ivermectin, Z-Pak, amoxicillin, and more, these kits combat bacterial infections, staph, bite wounds, UTIs, strep throat, and respiratory illnesses. Each kit includes their medical board-approved guidebook that walks you through how to treat different emergency scenarios. Ordering your prescription emergency kit is easy and fully digital. Answer a couple questions after checkout, and your kit is delivered to your front door. Don't wait until a disaster strikes. Act now by heading over to twc.health/Rubin and use code Rubin to save up to $60 off plus free shipping. Again, that's twc.health/Rubin and use code Rubin to save up to $60 off plus free shipping. Kits available only in the US of A.